All right, we're back here on Titans Talk, taking your phone calls tonight, 737-7767. We were talking a little bit about the playoff picture before this. I want to clarify a couple things. That the Chiefs are currently sitting in the first wild card spot at 9-3. So that's 3 games out in front of the Titans, win-loss. They're likely going to be a wild card team. Then comes the Broncos at 8-4. Steelers, Dolphins both at 7-5, which is still a game in front. So again, the wild card scenario is just really not there at this point for any team in the AFC South. Titans' best path is to win the division again. If the Colts score holds up tonight in New York, they're at 14-0 at the end of the first quarter, or near the end of the first quarter. If that holds up, you'll have a 3-way tie at the top of the division at 6-6. Here are the remaining schedules. For Houston, they go to Indianapolis next weekend, then get the Jags and Bengals at home before finishing here in Nashville against the Titans. The Colts host Houston this weekend, then go on the road to Minnesota and at Oakland, which is currently the #1 seed in the AFC, before getting Jacksonville in Week 17 at home. Of course, the Titans get the Broncos, hit the road for Kansas City, and then Jacksonville, and then home for the Texans. If you're looking for rooting interest here, I think you hope that the Colts beat the Texans this weekend, because chances are the Texans at home against the Jags and Bengals are wins. That would put the Texans at 8-7 coming to Nashville. You hope after the Colts beat the Texans that they lose in Minnesota and lose at Oakland, where they'll certainly be an underdog, which would drop them to 7-8 before hosting Jacksonville. Even if they win, they'd be 8-8 there. And then, as we said before, if you're the Titans, you got to split these 2 games between Denver and Kansas City somehow and beat Jacksonville. If you do that, you would be 8-7. Just like the Texans going into Week 17, which means with the Colts sitting at 7-8, the winner of that game, Houston, Tennessee at Nissan Stadium, would win the division outright. That team would then get to 9-7, and they would be your division champion. That's your hope. You got to hope here, I think, that the Colts beat the Texans this weekend, drop the next 2 games, and you've got to figure out how to win 2 or 3 before that game against Houston. And if you do that, you set up essentially a playoff game in Week 17. Winner wins the division. Winner goes to the playoffs as the 4 seed, which as of right now would host Kansas City in round 1 in Wild Card Weekend. All right, back to the phones we go. Line still open, 737-7767. Hello, James. James, welcome to the program.
How's it going, buddy?
Going well.
Hey, man, Titans Nation need to know right now tonight, the playoffs start Sunday. That's when our playoffs starts. I mean, you know, we're going to have to win our division. We're going to have to win out. The playoffs start Sunday, and it's going to be a playoff atmosphere at the stadium come Sunday. And when they come to play the Denver Broncos, they better come playing with their chin strapped up and get ready to play football. Because if they come out there and start slow, they'll walk all over them. Because when I watched that Kansas City and Denver game, man, they was popping, they was hitting, they was flying around. And even this Sunday when Kansas City's playing, I mean, it's a different dog in here. And I'm a whole big Titans fan. I love Titans. Been a Titans fan almost ever since they've been here. But you talking about Denver and Kansas City now, this is a whole different. They've not played teams like this all year. And it's, you know, you look at Aaron Smith, man, he gets that ball out there, it's a little bit over a second. I mean, he's got the fastest release time in them corners and that secondary. If they struggle in it all, they're going to get stoned. They better come with the chin straps ready to play football. If they don't, they're going to get beat. But, you know, anything's possible, man. You know, it ain't like we can't make the playoffs, but our playoffs start this Sunday. And for every game that we play from the next 4 games, it's going to be a playoff game pretty much.
James, there's no question about you certainly understand the importance of these games, and they do too. They're looking 1 game at a time. It's not about winning 4 or trying to go 3-1 as I was talking about. They're just trying to beat Denver right now, and the task in front of them is difficult. As Mike Mularkey said today, the Broncos are certainly on the short list of best defenses they've played this year. Best defense they've played in a long while in the season, and maybe for the entire year. So we'll see this offense, which has taken such big strides over the last 7 or 8 weeks. They're going to get a test on Sunday from a really good pass rusher. Von Miller is one of the best defensive players in all of football. Can the Titans slow him down the way they've slowed down so many pass rushers all year long? We'll find out. And then they've got ball hawks in the secondary. Chris Harris and Aqib Talib are two of the best cornerbacks at going after the football and making plays. As poor as the Titans are in the secondary, that's how good the Broncos secondary is. They call them the no-fly zone for a reason. That's what Marcus Mariota and company are going up against this weekend. So it's a huge, huge task in front of them. But look, this is a team that's taken huge strides this year to put themselves in this position, and we'll see just how far they've come on Sunday against the Broncos. Are they good enough to take that next step and win a game like this at home?
Well, I think Titans fans don't need to be discouraged if we go out and lose, a couple of these games and not make the playoffs. But like you said, we made big strides in the passing game. I think our chance to win this ball game this weekend is we're going to have to run the football and keep Denver Broncos off the field and put Henry in there. He came in not last week, week before, and got 60 yards. And I think they need to utilize him a little bit more and involve him more in offense. If not anything, just use him for a decoy or something just kind of open up something different. But I'm telling you, if there's any Titans players are watching tonight, man, you better buckle up the chin straps because you're going to have to play an A1 game to beat these boys. So I will talk to y'all later, man.
All right, James, thank you. Good stuff there. They understand. They understand what is in front of them and the path that they're going to have to take in the month of December and the fact that it's not going to be easy. Derrick Henry gave them a boost in Chicago. I think a couple things. One, DeMarco Murray practiced today on the first day of the week, which is a bonus day after the bye. He was nursing that toe, and I think it affected him the last few weeks going into the bye. From what they said and what it looked like today with him on the practice field, he got well. That can be big for this team moving into December if he truly is back to 100% like he was early in the season. Throw in Derrick Henry getting more and more reps. I think you got a 1-2 punch. And you look at the weather. There was a chill in the air today when you walked outside, even here in Nashville. You're going to need to run the football in the month of December, whether it's here on Sunday, whether it's in Kansas City where it's likely to be cold. Final week of the year against Houston. I mean, running the football is going to be important in this month. It will certainly be important in January. This is a team that ranks third in the NFL in rushing at 141.5 yards per game. They're going to find that identity, I promise you. That's what they want to do. It's been nice to see the passing game come along and make big strides because people have basically said, look, we're going to try and stop your run game. Can you beat us in the passing game? And the Titans have shown us over the last several weeks that they can. Rashard Matthews has stepped up. Delaney Walker's a big factor there. Marcus Mariota is the AFC Player of the Month for a reason because of the way he played. But it needs to be the balance that they want in the month of December. And again, you're going to get some defensive tests here. Denver this week, Kansas City next week, Houston the final week. I mean, those might be maybe Minnesota in that mix from early on, but those might be the three best defenses the Titans face the entire season. And they're going to have to face them in 3 of the final 4 games. Big task in front of the offense for sure. Back to the phones and Timothy. Timothy, hello. You're next up here on Titans Talk.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Well, my thing is, you're right. They do need to run the ball and let, Henry run that ball too. My thing about the secondary is, well, I think they should move Kevin Bauer over the corner and let him play corner and, try to help that secondary a little bit because he's been playing good all year. So I think he should have a shot at that cornerback. Even though he's a free safety or a safety.
Right, but he's played so well at those positions at this point, and it's kind of stabilized the rotation back there. Do you really want to rock the boat there and try to put him at cornerback?
Yeah, I'd rather rock the boat because he's going to play hard all 4 quarters.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the thought process because Kevin Byard has played really well for a rookie, and they believe highly in him and think he's going to be a really good player for a while. But, man, that's a tough ask with 4 games to go in your rookie season to say, okay, you've played well as a safety, but now we need you to cover every single down. I don't know. I don't think they're going to do it. As a matter of fact, I know it's not in the plans right now, but I just think that's too tough a ask. Unfortunately, the Titans situation right here is you can't really improve the roster as it stands. So they're going to have to figure out how to make it work with McCourty on one side and the rotation of guys, Blake, McCain, LaShawn Sims, Kalen Reed if he's ready. They're going to have to make that work in the final 4 games, whether it's those guys stepping up and elevating their play or figuring out how to make sure the pass rush gets home so they're not on an island defending one-on-one forever out there. That's going to have to do it. And the upgrade to the roster is coming in the offseason.
Well, yeah, I think Sims will hold up there, too. You know, Sims a good tall guy. He's a good strong guy. I think he could hold up right there at corner myself, you know. But put value there at a spark at secondary and make him play because you got to think about it. He is a rookie, and he is out there shining most of them veterans. I'll take my chances there.
All right. Good stuff, Timothy. It's interesting. Kevin Byard has played really, really well to the point that he's gotten the most reps in that safety position over the last several weeks. Kind of moving in front of Denoris Searcy and Rashad Johnson. Those guys have played fine. I don't think you really are down on their play, but it tells you how well Byard has fit into this system and played for the Titans. Let's go to Corey. Corey, you're next up here on Titans Talk.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for the call.
I was just wondering, do you think they're going to let Kendall Wright get some more play time out there?
Good question. At the moment, they're kind of humming along offensively, and they're not having to go to him that much. Between Delaney Walker and Rashard Matthews, those 2 guys have been good options, and they've gotten enough out of the other guys. Tajay Sharp, Harry Douglas has made some big catches the last few weeks. Wright certainly had his moments. To me, Kendall Wright is the 3rd option of this receiving core right now. And it's kind of a week-by-week basis. How do teams defend him? What's the game plan? Where's he at? Of whether he steps up. And the other thing I will say, and this is just purely an observation, but early on in the year, they were really on Wright when he came back from the hamstring injury of not running out. Whether he was timid because of the hamstring or what, I don't know. But they were really on him for not running out every route that he was out on. And certainly some of the deep balls, they'd point to him on film or after practice and say, Kendall, if you sprint and run the route the way you're supposed to, that's a completion. Don't dog it, ever. I know you may think you're not the option or you're the secondary option or whatever, but you can't coast. Even if you beat your guy, you've got to get to where you're supposed to be. The timing has to be there. And if you're there, Mariota's going to put the ball on you. We've seen that a couple times. Deep ball against Cleveland, deep ball against Jacksonville on the Thursday night game, where he's actually run the route and run it the whole way, and it's become a huge play. In Chicago, he had an opportunity to do that, and he didn't. He kind of pulled off the Jets, and Mariota overshot him by a few yards. I'm not saying it's a surefire completion or a touchdown if he runs it, but he didn't run it. And I think it's that inconsistency of the route running that sometimes pulls Kendall out of favor with this coaching staff and leads to him having games where he has 14 or 16 plays and not the numbers that maybe he's had when he's had the really big games in his career. So part of that is game plan and matchup, and I think part of it is Kendall finding that level of consistency in his route running and performance to earn the trust again to be a 30-play-a-game receiver for this team.
All right. I got one more question.
Sure.
Do you think Mariota can you think he'll be able to be the leader and be able to handle all that weight on his shoulder in clutch moments?
I think so. We appreciate the call, Corey. I think that's what we've seen from Marcus Mariota so far. When he struggled early on in the year, all he did is go back to work. He took it on his shoulders. He worked. He did the right things. And now for 2 months, he's been the best quarterback in football over the last 8 or 9 weeks. That's the type of guy he is. He's not real vocal, but he leads by example. He leads with his work ethic, and he's impressed the heck out of everybody in that locker room. And I think he's impressed the heck out of the coaching staff and other people around the league. We haven't seen him in a playoff race before, but this is a guy who played in big games. In high school, he played in big games at Oregon, played in the college football playoff, a national championship game. I don't think the moment is going to be too big for him. I think this is the type of game that he wants to play in and will play well in and excel in. The question is, can the team around him step up to that? And are they ready, collectively, Mariota included, to take that step right now? They're on the path. The progress is there. They're moving in the right direction. This would be way ahead of schedule if they go from worst team in the NFL last couple of years, to the playoffs and a division champion this year. But that's the progress they've made with Mariota at the helm to get into this position. The question now is it just a huge step in the right direction, and next year's the year where some of those expectations become very real, or is this team ready to take that step right now? We'll find out over the next 4 weeks. Phone lines are still open. 737-7767 is the number. We'd love to hear from you tonight as we continue this conversation. Got to take a break, though. Run a little bit behind. We'll come back, hear more from you guys on the other side. This is Titans Talk on News Channel 5+.